religion is kooketry. Now, every individual religious person, and that's where people need to understand, like, all the religions are kooks, but each individual religious person, like their level of kooketry, and I don't have anything against them because they just haven't evolved yet. I mean, it's kind of like being mad at a caveman. The caveman doesn't know no better. He's just a caveman. That's what his knowledge is, and that's how I look at religious people. I pity them for their foolish beliefs. Hello, welcome to another video. In today's video, this is my Charlie Kirk video. The thing about Charlie Kirk is you can't do a Charlie Kirk video without Israel being involved, right? So then I have to make my stance on Israel quite apparent before, so I'll try to do all that very quick. Now, Israel, you gotta kind of put yourself into one of these modes where you can see other people's point of views, multiple other people's point of views, like trying to see the world through the Jewish point of view, see the world through the Palestinian point of view, etc. Okay? So, real quick, you know, the Jews are like this clan or people that have been kicked out of literally everywhere they had ever been, put into freaking ghettos. They were like nearly the world's first refugees. They were refugees for almost their whole existence. Until finally, the fascist just went nuts. The history's all there. So in the aftermath of World War II and all its facets, where the Jewish people, through their religious kookery, have looked at their homeland, right, as being there, that they got kicked out of, which is what happened. There's no disputing this. So that land at the time was the Ottoman Empire, which lost in World War II. So that whole area was basically up for grabs. And there was a battle between the Palestinian people and the Jewish people. The Jewish people won. You might have said their motivation was a little higher considering what they had just gone through, learned about, whatever. Okay? So now, there they are. Here we are, doing our thing, right? Trying to be a democracy and have, right? And this is where initially, when the battles took place and the people were displaced, the Palestinian people call it the Nakba. I don't know what the Jewish people call it. The Arab nations are a little bit to blame in this situation because they took the Palestinian people and they stuck them in tents out in the middle of nowhere, in camps. Instead of integrating them in society and moving on, they put them in camps, which radicalized them, okay? Because no one wants to live in camps, right? And then they never came to they lost the battles in 48, but then the Arab community wanted to relitigate that in 67, and there was a couple times. The Arabs attacked the Jews. The Arabs attacked the Jews. Now, was there some antagonistic whatever going on? Maybe, and they were trying to deal with the whole Palestinian thing, that by not integrating the Palestinians into their own communities created another problem Therefore, they need to share in the blame for the radicalization of the Palestinians. Because my entire life, it's the Palestinians are killing Jews here, the Palestinians are killing Jews there. It just never stopped. They never were just like, yeah, we lost the battle, let's just get along. And you can say it's right or wrong, whatever you want to say. There was a fight, and there was a winner. That's kind of how it works. The Native Americans are an example, and unfortunately, if you look at the history of the Native Americans, the first big wipeout was disease, and then it was just murder, outright murder, and putting them on to, reservation concentration camps, right? And then, into the 1960s, and even currently, Native Americans are just disappeared at one of the highest rates for the level of population they have, still to this day. And what this is these are demented, racist people that go into the Native American communities to fulfill their racist ideology, twisted things. Okay, to this day, okay? It probably happens less and less and less over time, but it's the same story. But the Native Americans, they basically just kind of stopped fighting and kind of just gave up, basically, and tried to integrate into society. And none of this I'm saying is a great or even good or whatever. When you look at generational maturity, the way people used to be, everybody was into, torturing people to death if they did this. They were into slaving people if they did that. Everybody, okay? So you could sit here and say it's right, wrong, or other way. It's the way humans developed in their generational maturity. And there's absolutely nothing we can do about history other than learn it and learn from it, okay? So, the Palestinians and the Jews are run by kooks, both of them, okay? One side is Jewish kooks, the other side is Muslim kooks, okay? So I identify with the non-kooks in both those societies. The Palestinians that aren't kookified with the Muslims in their head, the Jews that aren't kookified with the Jews in their head, okay? So, this is how I look at that situation, right? It's a genocide. It's horrible. Should stop now. I actually made a video on how to just end it. And if you look at the Greater Israel Project, my solution isn't actually a solution because it appears as though the Jewish people are planning on just taking the entire Sinai Peninsula for themselves. So, it's a moot point was my solution. But what's the overall point where we're at today is that the Jewish people are on a crazy-ass, kooky mission along with kooky Christian people and kooky Catholic people and kooky Muslim people, okay? They're all a bunch of kooks. They're all on a mission to destroy the whole freaking world. There's literally been freaking 5 red cows shipped to Israel because apparently that is something that's going to trigger the apocalypse. Yeah, these kooks want apocalypse. Okay? Kooks. Every religion is kooketry. Now, every individual religious person, and that's where people need to understand, all the religions are kooks, but each individual religious person, their level of kooketry, and I don't have anything against them because they just haven't evolved yet. It's kind of like being mad at a caveman. The caveman doesn't know no better. He's just a caveman. That's what his knowledge is. And that's how I look at religious people. I pity them for their foolish beliefs, prehistoric beliefs, caveman beliefs. Okay? So, Israel's trying to bring about the apocalypse, and how does Charlie Kirk fit into all this? Because it would have made a lot more sense if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll have some videos linked in the description that show just, but here's like one of the major points, right? There was 3 people in the crowd that said that they shot Charlie Kirk. 3 different people. One of those guys called in a report about how he saw the planes fly into the buildings, and called in a report on the marathon bombing. And so that is a 1 in 2 billion chance that this one guy is at all these events, right? So apparently this murdering of this Charlie Kirk is up on this level of 9/11 and the bombers in the marathon. Like these are liberty-taking events on a grand scale, brought to you by Israel. Now, how this kid that has admitted to it, apparently, I mean, it gets just bizarre, right? Like, watch those videos. Like, the bizarre level is, like, how the hell are these 3 people? What's this guy dancing? Like dancing Israelis. Which is, if you don't know, you don't know. If you know, you know. So, and quite frankly, it's all kind of mind-boggling. Because the conclusion that you have to come to, that I have to come to, when you process this whole entire situation, right? Is there is some sort of MK Ultra something. Even with the guy on the bus with the Ukrainian girl. Like, these things are just too, I mean, it's like the cameras are all perfect right there. Great camera angles, great camera quality. Like, and just no reason, like just out of nowhere, right? And this is the type of thing that you would expect out of like MK Ultra situations, which MK Ultra, we're talking about Bobby Kennedy assassination, for sure, Sirhan. We're talking about, the Beatles guy that got assassinated, that guy, whatever Beatle got assassinated, the guy that killed him was MK Ultra AF, okay? The something Foster, some actress, it was, look it up. So anyway, this kid, right from the start, here's this guy gets murdered. Now, right at the start, it's like it's assassination. It's not a mass shooting, okay? And so they're taking him out for, whatever reason. Now, it's absolutely shocking. And what makes this even more of a mind fuck is like how not the kid was a leftist. He was all the way over to the other side, right? When you're talking about the MK Ultra, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you were trying to get the justification to crack down on the United States and start rounding people up and all this, right? Which is what people still think and still might happen. I mean, the facts, they don't really give a shit about facts anymore. If they're going to do something, they're going to do it. And if they can just point to some whatever, they'll just point to some whatever, okay? But it would have been so much more effective had the shooter been some actual, provable, hardcore leftist person, right? Which hardcore leftist person, in my mind, is like a communist, right? Because communism is the dictator level of the left, where fascism is the dictator level of the right, okay? Now, I'm all the way on the other end of the spectrum. There's dictator, but then there's liberty, right? Or dictator liberty, okay? Political compass, look it up, okay? Left and right is only literally 50% of the equation. So they love to talk about the left and the right, but they never, ever talk about the up and the down, the dictator versus liberty, okay? Because radical left, I believe in liberty. I don't believe in any Epstein, nothing like this, right? I'm a freedom, education, self, morals. Like, I don't outsource my morals to a fantasy person in the sky, and people like me are more moral than the religious people. This is proven time and time again. My morals are so much higher than the religious people's morals because I hold myself to account. I don't go to church and say, oh, this is my problems that I did this week, and oh, forgive me because I'm not perfect. I'm like, nah, I'm perfect. That's how I am. I am perfect. I hold myself to a much higher standard than these religious people do, okay? So that's your radical left, right? Right? I believe in people having the choice to do what they want to do with their bodies. Just, that's not any of your business, okay? And that is, my opinion, radical to think that you have something to say about somebody else's body. Like this Nazi piece of shit, Nick Fuentes, right? Had the MK Ultra put some radical communist or whatever as the shooter and not this right-wing guy, we would already have seen horrors past, right? But it wasn't. And this was where the grand mind fuckery comes into, quite honestly, because the level, this is, and for the record, Jewish people have the highest IQ genetically as anybody else in the world. So they have a abnormally high baseline for IQ, so they're just generally smarter, but they also have a lower level of empathy, which isn't good. So they're not only smarter, but they're also less empathetic. And I guarantee if you start grabbing genetic testing from Palestinians, from Jewish people, because you can see brown Jewish people and white Palestinians. You can see brown Palestinians and white Israelis. So I have a feeling that the genetic makeup of that area is all very similar. So literally they're their own brothers and sisters, okay? But I digress. Back to the Charlie Kirk thing, okay? That it seems as though this is some kind of psyop on a level that is just really even hard to fathom. Because, I think I have a vision of where they're trying to go with the world. Authoritarian, no freedoms, slavery, all the horrible stuff, okay? Led by Jewish Czech and low IQ American and United fascists from around the world. Russians, all the fascist idiots, okay? So then why wouldn't that guy be the perfect guy for them to just be, now it's like, if they want to do all the horrific shit, just rounding people up and killing people and torturing people, full Pinochet, Hitler level shit. That's what they want to do. They can't pull it off because they don't have that level of support yet. But the kind of thing that, like a Antifa member or whatever assassinating Antifa member. That was an incorrect statement. There's no members. It's just like you either believe in anti-fascist or you don't. Maybe you have a group of anti-fascists that you hang out with, but it's really not a group as such. It's more of an ideology more than anything, okay? But having someone with that ideology that they would have put there, that would have just been unlocked the floodgates. But it wasn't. And that's what makes this whole thing like super, super hard to wrap my mind, which, I'm up there working with the Jewish level intellect, okay? And I've been paying very close attention for a lot of years, and I've called almost every single thing that is going down years ago. In my videos, feel free to search whatever question you might have, because I probably answered it years ago, okay? That said, I'm still like, the fascists that want to do the whole concentration camps and ovens and all this shit, they just need that moment that they can get it. And look, it makes 0 sense killing somebody like Charlie Kirk. It does literally nothing but piss people off. Like, it literally does nothing, right? Like, for instance, if somebody killed, and this is just hypothetical, right? I'm not suggesting anybody kill anybody, but what I'm saying is if somebody was trying to kill people to actually stop the fascist takeover, Charlie Kirk's, he's a non-issue. I mean, literally, like, you have to go, people that are actually making the calls, the calls on what to do, directing these people to do these things. Those are the people that are the only people that any sort of, like Nick Fuentes, why bother? Kash Patel, that would probably send a message. I could sit here and just go down the line, but I think everybody understands that there's the parrots that are just talking, spewing what just came in their ears, okay? Charlie Kirk, Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, okay? These people are pointless people. Like, there's zero reason to ever want to target somebody like that if you were a smart person trying to change the world, okay? That's just not who you do. And for the record, the United States founding fathers wrote the Second Amendment for a tyrannical government. Those aren't my words. When the government gets tyrannical, there's a Second Amendment to deal with them. That's just the Constitution. This is why they're trying to literally rewrite the Constitution. Because the current one says if the government gets out of line, it's the people's responsibility to get it back under control. That's what the Second Amendment is there for, okay? It's not so you can have guns to show off your gun collection. It's because if the government, and there is no ambiguity, the government is tyrannical now. Trump didn't win. They stole the election. They're giving neo-Nazis $40,000 signing bonuses to join ICE. ICE is going to be the 16th largest military on earth. It's got more funding than most countries do for their militaries, okay? The country, this is tyranny. This is what the Second Amendment was for. But Charlie Kirk, that's that's not going to do anything. Period. So that's my take on it. Had the people that did it, set it up, I mean, there's just too much there. How the hell is there a guy that was at 9/11 and the marathon bombing? It's literally a 1 in 2 billion. And these are all, you know, that bombing of the marathon, that was an anti-Muslim thing. Those people that did that were Muslims, supposedly. You know what I'm saying? It's like this, and it goes back to this whole MK Ultra thing. Like, they have proven that they can kidnap people, do things to them. Yeah, the MK Ultra is really the only kind of thing that really ties it all together. But I mean, it's sloppy. I mean, it's kind of like the last resort at an explanation is when you got to come up with MK Ultra. But I mean, it just works. It just like, but I mean, it works. But why that guy? That's what's just gonna, I mean, it's gonna take a while. I'm probably not gonna have to make a follow-up if it comes to me. So drop a like, hit that subscribe, and peace.
Thank you for watching my video.